Other interesting business news, you have Ford decreasing EV requirements for dealerships, which is good news for them. Dealerships are one of the biggest industries that most people do have a disdain for because there are kind of cliche, almost a couple dictionary thick books of bad stories you can get from that industry. And one of the biggest issues with why these dealerships don't want to go EV is one, there's much less profit on average, and two, it's a lot harder to sell them. Like you talk to most dealers, and a lot of the analytics are showing, on average, again, a person can go to the dealership and they'll go to the dealership one time to buy an internal combustion engine car. Well, when it comes to the EVs, they'll go to the dealership 3 to 4 times. So it's quite literally 3 to 4 times the effort from the sales rep and the dealership to sell that vehicle, which again, with the exceptions of the weird things like the Hummer, they're going to lose money on. And they're also going to make less money on because a lot of the dealerships make money through service and maintenance of the vehicles, which until the 30, 40, $50,000 battery goes kaput on the vehicle, well, there's much less things on average to fix, at least from a dealership perspective. There's probably just like a Windows update. You'll have those things being updated every 14 days, something like that, with software fixes. But in terms of mechanical fixes, there are less. Now, they're not maintenance free, as some people simplistically try to put. The tires actually wear down quicker because the vehicles weigh so much, but another topic for another time perhaps. Well, a lot of these dealerships, they have to have a huge upfront investments. It's not just paying to train employees, but they also have to buy these new tools or diagnostic materials. Then they have to have new safety equipment for when they do install those ridiculously expensive heavy batteries. So a lot of dealerships are being opted out, and some are actually complaining that they're being coerced out because they have some of these manufacturers demanding hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars in these upfront investments, which again, that's a sunk cost right off the bat. Now, sounds like Ford is trying to listen a little bit, and this comes to us thanks to The Verge, specifically is Umar who wrote this article. They say, quote, Ford slims down dealership EV requirements after a pushback. Ford is dropping many of the pricey package requirements it put in place in order for dealers to sell the F-150 Lightning and the Mustang Mach-E's, which, yeah, I mean, last time I drove by a dealership, they had a lot of these on the lot. And if you're just listening, not watching the show, there's a picture of the Mustang E-Mach, which is a bastardization of the Mustang name. No, it's not the good old Mustang, in my opinion. Granted, they do have a different engine options. Come with a stick shift and V8 as Ford intended. Granted, I understand they have different options, and they did win the Pony War, in my opinion. But yeah, these vehicles and the F-150 Lightning, those are, they're getting better in terms of the overall number of units being sold are increasing, but the rate at which they're selling is much, much decreasing. That's why Ford decreased their battery production by 40% this year. So they had built these factories saying, oh yeah, we're going to build this amount because we have so much EV demand. No, they're dropping it by 40%, which is quite a few to say the least. Though, again, if you don't need to actually tow anything and you just want a truck to go to pick up kids from soccer, I mean, F-150 Lightning is awesome for that. I actually did see one at a car show recently. It was sitting and standing there quite well. And interesting enough, if you would have to tow a vehicle, it would probably get to this destination as long as it was under 20 miles. I only partially jest. Now, scrolling down into the substance in terms of actual some of the price points, they know that Ford is revising a strategy of requiring dealers to invest up to $1.2 million for certifications that include mandatory on-site EV chargers, upgrades, and advanced staff training. Wow. That was the first proposal. All right, you want to sell our Mustang E-Mach and the Ford F-150 Lightning? All right, give us $1.2 million. And again, that does pay for some infrastructure, some knickknacks and tools. But geez, $1.2 million. Now, they also note in an email to The Verge, Ford Model E CEO, which again, that is their electric division of the company. They're divided into three. So you got the Ford Blue, which is the one that you and I know and love, the one that makes the internal combustion engines and the stick shifts, which is rare and rare these days. Then you have Ford Commercial, which is the big F1, F450, 550, 750, Banana Falcon, where they call the big monstrosities, which are very great commercial vehicles. So those make profit too. And they have the Ford, Ford E, which, yeah, that's the one that's losing money. They lost $136,000 per vehicle. Was it Q1? Granted, they're moving in the right direction, just like most of these companies. The losses are lessening. So they do suspect they'll get to profitability this year. We'll see. Now, again, Marin Gajala, who again is the Ford Model E CEO, wrote in an email, said that starting July 1st, the company is expanding EV sales and services to all 2,800 of its U.S. dealers, which replaces the Mustang E dealership program, which introduced first in 2022. Gaja wrote that approximately 1,400 dealerships had enrolled in the old program. Wow. Now, granted, I'm not a mathematician or by any means, that's why I pay someone else to do accounting. But nevertheless, that's about 50% of dealerships saying, hell no, we don't want to pay for this stuff. That's it. Yeah, that's a lot of them saying, that's quite, I was going to say, not to talk smack about public school systems, but for those who did attend, including myself, well, that's about half that didn't want to adopt this new program. We have now contributed more than some public schools in the United States, which is quite sad. Not all, but some. Now, they say that, quote, the move is to dismantle the EV certification requirements was rumored to be underway last month in dealership meetings. Ford was at odds of dealerships after being accused of violating state franchise laws while also losing the leverage of sales of popular EVs like Tesla slowed, even though Ford's own EV and hybrids are up. The old program had as 2/3 of Ford dealerships previously agreed to sign up for the EV certification tag. It included one premium elite tier, and one standard tier was only needed up to 500,000 of investments. Jeez Louise. Hostile idea. I also said Ford literally wanted dealerships to install multiple chargers with some available for public use, but pushback made the automaker revise those requirements in November, which, yeah, again, that'd be terrible. Because again, those chargers aren't really making you money. And so if you just have people at the dealership just getting their car charged, I mean, that would literally just waste time and resources. Because again, EVs, you're not upgrading every year, so the sales reps aren't going to, try to upsell you on anything like that. And yeah, I don't see much advantages in that regard. So it's nice that they're going to slim down the requirements. It'll be easier. It'll be interesting to see if this actually changes the overall adoption rate. What's that going to be looking like? Because again, EVs on average are becoming more and more sluggish, pun moderately intended. But yeah, maybe Ford will make a comeback and they'll lessen. Maybe they will make a profit this year. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me know. Do you think they'll actually make a profit this year for EVs? Well, I mean, again, $136,000 loss per vehicle Q1. That's not great. But let me know in the comments, as always. Be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.